listen, I am thrilled to turn our attention to our final special guest, this Eli, a man who has had as big an impact off the field as he has on. Let's take a look.
Here comes Peyton Manning, quarterback for the University of Tennessee. Get used to it. With the first pick of the draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Peyton Manning.
I call him the sheriff because every town he plays in, he lays down the law.
The Denver Broncos are world champions. That is unbelievable.
Such an honor and thrill to be here hosting Saturday Night Live.
Now football, man, you guys.
I call you catch. It's not that hard, okay? Those are two plays I just caught. This helmet doesn't fit. Shocking that a helmet doesn't fit you.
This year marked the 21st year of the scholarship endowment.
He's one in a million. He was just different, very caring, had a lot of compassion for his teammates, and he carries that over into the community as well.
Remember, a legacy is only worthwhile when there is a future to fuel.
Please welcome Peyton Manning. So Peyton, the audience they're so excited you're here, and they have something they'd like to say to you. 3, 2, 1.
I like it. Well done. Now I'm ready.
So I hope that made you feel welcome with this amazing audience of higher education. And listen, we are navigating through really big challenges and in the community and working with students on big decisions and what's next in their lives. You've done that and made big decisions on the field in a very public way. And we know that we can learn so much from your experiences. So thank you again for being here, and
Thanks for having
let's
me.
get started.
All right, great.
And I guess the first thing to get started with is you have, you're off the field now, but it doesn't mean that you're not on the field as well. And just curious, you're not playing football. What do you really miss and what don't you miss these days?
I don't miss getting hit anymore.
I was going to ask you who hit you the hardest later, but we'll get to
I
that.
had a guy ask me the other day, he said, well, I bet you don't miss those blind side hits when the defender hits you in the back when you're getting ready to throw. And believe it or not, I felt like I could avoid the blind side hits mainly because of the great fans like all of you. When you're getting ready to throw, and all of a sudden you hear 80,000 people go, you scoot up a little bit, right? Something bad's about to happen. So I don't miss getting hit. I think what I miss more than anything, and I'm sure all of you can relate, is just simply being a part of a team. In the NFL, there's 53 players on a team. It's the ultimate form of bonding, camaraderie, and fellowship. You do everything together. You practice together. You watch film together. You travel to the game together. And I really miss that. And there's certain things you just can't replicate in this second chapter. I miss the plane rides after a win. Nothing quite like being on an airplane with 53 of your friends after this hard-fought victory. The adrenaline, the emotion, it really is hard to describe. Next time you're on that flight attendant says, this plane cannot take off till everyone is seated and your cell phones are turned off, that is not true. After an NFL game, every player is on their phone, they're standing up, they're high-fiving and hugging, and the plane takes off just fine. So, I miss the plane rides.
I can only imagine. We talked a little bit earlier, and you have 2 amazing children and an amazing family. And wanted you to share a little bit about what family means to you and your life and career, and what coaching has meant to you as well.
Yeah, obviously, my family, my parents, my brothers, I had a great support system growing up. I have a great family now. My wife Ashley and I have 15-year-old twins. My dad was kind of my hero, role model, favorite quarterback, kind of all wrapped into one. He was very present in my life. I know for a fact that he said no to some things after he retired from the NFL that would have taken him away from being a part of his kids' lives. My dad was at our Little League baseball games. He was at our school functions. That was important to me. I could see him there in the stands. He never pushed us into playing sports. He encouraged us to play sports because of the valuable lessons that sports teaches. Taking coaching, overcoming adversity, working with different types of teammates. We weren't allowed to play sports if we weren't taking care of our grades in school, so it was always academics first, sports second. He was always telling us he was proud of us, that he loved us after a game. He lost his father when he was in college. That had a huge impact on his parenting philosophy. There was a good documentary on my dad several years ago kind of telling that story. Showed a lot of old videos. He was always filming our youth events or whatnot. I personally think the documentary showed a few too many crying videos of me as a 3-year-old. At what point do you think you stop filming your 3-year-old son getting kicked in the head by his older brother and maybe go out there and help the poor kid? No. I gotta keep filming. This might be a documentary one day. So, besides that, he's been a great dad.
It sounds like you had a lot of great life lessons. What were the most important ones that you passed on to your kids?
Yeah, like I said, look, I'm busy, I'm stimulated. It's important that my kids see me working, but I do way too many commercials. I admit that. I've got a couple more coming out this spring. I'm just going to warn you. But I'll take my daughter to volleyball practice tonight. I'll be at my son's 7-on-7 flag football tournament this weekend. So my dad was just a great role model from that standpoint about being present in your kids' lives. I've been retired from the NFL for 10 years. I don't really use that retirement word. I kind of use second chapter, but I'm able to still, be a part of their lives, much like my dad was my life.
You also have 2 brothers. What was that like growing up, and how have the relationships transformed?
Yeah, I was a middle child. My older brother Cooper, who's 2 years older than me. Eli is 5 years younger than me. Cooper taught me a lot, beat up on me. I felt I needed to do the same things down to Eli. We were big kids. Cooper was 12 pounds, 3 ounces at birth. I was 12'1". Eli was only 10 pounds. We thought something was wrong with him. My parents always said, if you ever want to disappoint us as parents, don't get along with one another. That'd be one way to really let us down. So we always remember that. Not saying we need to argue like siblings do, but we always had each other's backs as kids and still do today. Always defended each other. Cooper was an excellent wide receiver in high school. I was the sophomore quarterback on the high school team. He was a senior receiver. I completed 120 passes that year. I threw 90 of them to my brother. Probably the most enjoyable year I ever had playing football, believe it or not. He goes to Ole Miss on a scholarship, has a neck injury.
There you go.
There you go. Has a neck injury, has to give up his football career. The grace and attitude and faith with which he handled that adversity just had a huge impact on me. He wrote me a letter saying, I want to live my dream of playing football through you. So I kind of learned never to take for granted being healthy for a practice or for a game. He didn't play football. He's been very successful in business. He raised a great family, became a social legend at Ole Miss. If that makes sense to anybody in this room. So kind of made his mark. Eli, being 5 years younger than me, we never played on the same team. Eli was always kind of getting dragged by my parents to my baseball games or whatnot. Eli and I really got closer when I got to college at Tennessee. I was playing quarterback. He was playing high school quarterback. I'd kind of share all the things that I was learning about playing quarterback. And then I go to the Colts. He's playing college football. I'm helping him. So our relationship really grew. And then we were in the same business for so many years. It's nice to have a sibling in the same business. You can share game plan notes. We work out together in the off season. I played against him 3 times in the NFL, and I have to say, we really didn't enjoy it that much because we pulled so hard for each other. Now you're competing, trying to help your team win, but we kind of wanted the best for each other. I will say for all 3 games, we're lined up right across from each other, singing the national anthem before the game. And you kind of take a moment and go, that's pretty cool. We're playing in front of 80,000 people. That's my little brother over there. We're singing the national anthem. You kind of take a moment to appreciate how special it was. It was really tough on my family. My parents, who do they go for? They were going for Eli. He's the baby in the family. But I've been proud of Eli, the way he's handled himself in the community. He's been very philanthropic, but playing against him in those 3 games was really hard. We won all 3 times, but it was hard.
Well, let's talk a little bit about role models, mentors, and defining moments. Mentors and role models and coaches, how meaningful have they been to you, and what were some of the standouts?
Yeah, besides my family, coaches have had the greatest impact on me, Laura. They've been my mentors. Luckily, I got to get coached up until my last year playing here for the Broncos when I was about to turn 40 years old. So it just had a long time impact on me. I played for a guy in Indianapolis named Tony Dungy, who was every bit as good a human being as he was a coach. He treated you so well that you just didn't want to let him down. And you played harder for him because you didn't want to disappoint your leader. You wanted to make that great catch for him, wanted to make that great throw for him. because you didn't want to let him down. He was just as calm in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl as he was out there at practice every day. And I would say that when your leader is calm, it's easy for the people following that leader to be calm as well. He was always talking about take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. He was always preaching expectations, execution, no excuses, no explanations. I find myself quoting Tony Dungy in my everyday life, a very effective leader, never raised his voice, never used any type of language. I had a very loyal coach in college at Tennessee named Philip Fulmer. He always had your back, especially if times get tough. That's a great quality, I think, in a leader, to have the backs of the people following you when times get tough. On a lighter note, I played for a real character. My high school coach down in New Orleans, he's 92 years old now. He's still going. We still stay in touch. He was a real character. He was famous for these, what I call malaprops, right? Kind of Yogi Berra type expressions. He would tell us for the team picture to line up alphabetically by height. Smart kids in our school were trying to figure that one out. He'd tell all his right-handed quarterbacks, he'd say, Peyton, you're going to the left. It'd be a lot easier if you could throw the ball left-handed if you were amphibious. I think you meant ambidextrous, didn't never ask me. Last one I'll share with you until I got a long list. When I got recruited, it was back when the colleges sent you kind of a written questionnaire. And I was 17 years old, sitting in his office filling out one of these questionnaires. I said, Coach, it's got some questions about you. He said, what's it say? I said, it's asking the name of my high school, name of my high school coach, and what is my high school coach's alma mater? I said, Coach, I don't even know the answer. What is your alma mater? He said, always do your best. Which is good advice, by the way. But the last serious note I'll share about coaching and mentoring is that I believe we all have an obligation to pay it forward. We should never keep all the information and knowledge to ourselves. We should always share with the younger generation. Anytime when I was playing, even now, a young quarterback has a question about playing the position, I'm always willing to answer. We have a high school football camp for high school quarterbacks we've had for 30 years. When I was playing a player on another team, if they had a question, I was always willing to answer it. We should pay it forward. But at no point should we stop being coached and mentored ourselves. Because we all hit a plateau at some point in our performance. And you literally need a coach, a teacher, a parent, a relative, a former coworker, someone that is honest with you and candid with you. Don't ever stop going back to that person, because we need to hear the truth. Every NFL offseason, I went back and found one of my old college coaches. His name was David Cutcliffe. He coached me at Tennessee. He coached at Ole Miss. He coached at Duke. Wherever he was, I went and found him. And he coached me like I was an 18-year-old freshman again, working on the most basic fundamentals of how to play quarterback. How do you take a snap from the center? And you might ask, well, I'm a 17-year NFL veteran. Need to go back and learn how to take a snap again? The point is, the little things do matter. And when you stop doing those little things, that's usually when your performance begins to slide. So I'd encourage you all to keep being coached.
Well, and that's important these days. We talk about students and lifelong learning, that we're always learning. We always need mentoring, coaching to transform what we do and stay on our game.
Correct.
So important. I wanted you to walk us through your thought process in terms of defining moments of returning to Tennessee for your fourth year, your goals for that and what it meant.
Yeah, I went to Tennessee. I went to college for two reasons: to get the best education that I could get and to be the best football player I can be. And after my junior year, because I had to be there all summer for football workouts all 3 years, I actually graduated in 3 years. So I had my degree, had probably a chance to be a high pick. The NFL drafts tomorrow. I probably would have been a high pick as a junior. I just don't, I turned 50 last month. I didn't want to be 50 years old like I am now and kind of wondering what my senior year in college would have been like. I just didn't want to have that regret. My first 3 years in college, I was always running to class, running to practice, and I'm not sure I really was going to remember anything about college. I think when you have a tough decision in front of you, for me, where to go to college, whether to stay or turn pro, what team to sign with after the Colts let me go, I'm still kind of an old school yellow notepad kind of guy. Write out those pluses and minuses. Oftentimes that answer is staring right at you. You got to talk to people that you trust, get their input. Eventually you're going to have to pray about it and trust your instincts and gut and make a decision. Whatever decision you make though, it is up to you to make it the right decision after the fact. By going full speed ahead, not looking back. Everybody's going to judge that was the right or wrong one. No, it is up to you to make it the right decision by going full speed ahead. So it was without a doubt one of the best decisions I ever made. I got physically stronger. I got mentally tougher. My first year with the Colts, I was the first pick of the draft by the Colts. and that was a tremendous honor. Don't get me wrong. When you're the first pick of the NFL draft, you're going to a team that has earned the first pick in the NFL.
That's right.
There's a reason they have that pick. Any Raiders fans in here, y'all earned that pick. So, really a struggle. I only won 3 games my rookie year. I threw 28 interceptions my rookie year, which is still an NFL rookie record that I hold today. It's amazing that that record has not been broken. They're playing 17 games now. They're about to go to 18. It's very hard to do. You got to throw 3 interceptions in your first game, 4 in your second game, 3 in your third game. That's how you get on the roll and break the record. Here's the problem. When these rookie quarterbacks struggle, what happens? The coach takes him out. I go, no, leave him in there. Let him learn. I'm over it for the most part, okay? But, struggled as a rookie. We went from 3-13 my rookie year to 13-3 my next year. I don't think that would have happened had I not stayed all 4 years in college and just gotten more ready mentally and physically for all the ups and downs and adversity that was coming in this next chapter for me. So without a doubt, one of the best decisions I ever made.
Awesome. We share a bit of a connection with the University of Virginia where your wife Ashley went. And I thought it was super cool that they got you there to talk at a commencement. And just wanted to ask you what that was like for you, the meaning of that as students are launching into their future and the types of messages that you sent to them.
Yeah, that was a real low point for UVA to have a Tennessee graduate speaking. Exercise.
We like Tennessee, okay.
But yeah, obviously, look, I shared that story about my struggles as a rookie, so it's not going to be just an easy transition. And I'm so glad I went through those struggles. I'm glad I had that tough rookie year because you learn quickly and you figure things out. And so that was my message to all of those graduates, to be ready, to be strong, to be resilient. There is adversity coming your way. Surround yourself with good people, but it's always fun for me to be around young people. I get back to Tennessee a good bit. I enjoy spending time with the students, the student athletes, so that was a cool day for me.
You're famous for calling an audible, like Omaha, and we'll ask what that means next, but is that something you just instinctively have, or is it something that people develop, that you just know it?
You know, an audible in football is when the quarterback gets up there to the line of scrimmage, sort of sees how the defense is aligned, changes the play to get out of a bad situation and try to get to a really good situation. And we always yelled out the word Omaha after we called an audible. So that's an audible in football. I think whether it's in real life, in school, in business, on the football field, guts, instinct, and courage are a big part of making a change, calling an audible. But I really think, Laura, it boils down to what I would just call dogged preparation. Having a plan for what might be coming down the road, and when that situation comes about, you go to that plan because you've talked about it. It looks, when you watch Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes play on TV and you see them call an audible, it looks like they're kind of winging it. It looks spontaneous. Every audible that I ever called, we had practiced it. We had talked about it. Said, hey, if the defense does this, this is what I'm going to audible to. Might be this week, might be next week, but this is the plan. We're all on the same page. We were not winging it, right? Winging it is not good in any field, certainly not good in football. I called a lot of audibles that didn't work. My coaches, my teammates, they always had my back. They always said, hey, that was a good plan. We didn't execute it. Don't second guess yourself. So I think it just goes back to being on the same page and not waiting for something to come about and then trying to figure it out. Let's go ahead and prepare and plan now for what might be coming down the road.
And just because everyone shouted it out, they want to know, how did Omaha become the signature?
Yeah, so Omaha was just kind of an indicator word. It was a trigger word that we sort of came up with. It was a rhythmic 3-syllable word that meant we've gone from plan A to plan B. There's just a few seconds left and we're going right now. So it is Omaha, snap the ball. And I am like a really big deal in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been there a couple times. Got the key to the city.
You got the t-shirts?
Got some steaks out of the deal. So, trying to get your company viral marketing out there. Trying to get it into a quarterback's snap count in the NFL game.
Speaking about being a quarterback, you have a reputation of being one of the best prepared, if not the best prepared quarterback. How has that helped you through your career and through your life as well, being prepared?
I think preparation was where I thought I could get an edge on the competition. We're all trying to get an edge out there somehow. And I couldn't throw it as far as certain quarterbacks. If you ever watched me play, you certainly know that I couldn't outrun anybody. I had a coach tell me once that I couldn't run out of sight in a week. That was nice. But I thought I could out-prepare him. And whether I had or I hadn't, I told myself that nobody has studied more film. Nobody has spent more time talking to the receivers and and getting on the same page, and just gave me great confidence on Sundays at 1 o'clock Eastern when I was playing in the NFL. And my dad was always giving me quotes when I was a kid from a lot of sports figures. I want to say I was a freshman in high school, and he gave me a quote from the great Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Chuck Noll, who once said, "Pressure is what you feel when you don't know what you're doing." And that applies to school, it applies to life, sports, business. Is it okay to get nervous before a big opportunity? Yes, that's a good thing. That means you care about the outcome. It's important to you. Anxious, excited, you bet. I couldn't wait for it to get here. Pressure, that means you really haven't prepared. You really haven't done your homework to get ready for whatever this challenging opportunity is. And that's a bad feeling. I never wanted that feeling, so I was always willing to do the preparation. I left the field a lot saying I wish I could have done more. I left the field a lot saying I wish I could have this throw over again. I never left the field saying I wish I could have done more to get ready for that game. I think that's really all we can ask of ourselves.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about leadership and about your rookie season with the Colts and how you were able to establish your credibility being the rookie with a bunch of veteran players.
Yeah, it was now you're 22, you have 37, 38-year-old grown adults in that huddle kind of looking at you to see how you're handling this adversity. I learned a good lesson in leadership when I was in college. My very first game in college, I ran into the huddle with the starters, and I kind of had this pep talk that my dad had given me. I said, "Hey guys, I know I'm just a freshman, but I can take us down the field, get us a touchdown, get us back in this game." Our big left tackle, about 330 pounds, grabs him by the shoulder and says, "Hey freshman, just shut the blank up and call the blanket play." And I said, "Yes, sir." And great advice from my dad. I really appreciated that. But I think the point is, I think you got to earn the respect of the people that you're trying to lead. I had not earned the respect of those new coworkers, those new teammates of mine at the time. And so that's kind of the lesson that I learned then that I applied when I got to the Colts. I kind of called it silent leadership. Just not saying so much, just trying to show my teammates, I'm here to help us win. I'm going to be the hardest worker, first to arrive, last to leave. And now I get to Denver, even though I played for 14 years, I had not earned the respect of these new Denver Bronco teammates. So I went in there with the same approach, very quiet, very humble, just showing them that I'm here to help the Broncos start winning. So I think the mistake people make is they assume just because you're the quarterback, manager, president, or CEO, that doesn't make you a leader automatically. You have to earn the mantle of leadership. And leadership, if you really break it down, is the ability to influence. If you can't influence a team, I think it's awfully hard to lead that team. And to be influential, I think you got to earn the respect first of the people that you're trying to lead.
You've gone through